Good morning, suspect 016002. Hope your holding cell was comfortable enough for you to get a decent amount of sleep. We have something quite important to discuss, and I wouldn't want you dozing off. You know, I'll never understand why they make me take in these papers to discuss charges. I mean, it's 2086. Look at crime scenes on my tablet, for God's sake. Look at how many of these they printed off for me to, intimidate you with? I swear, older members of the force never want to get with the times. My name is Emma Rockford. I am the Assistant District Attorney sent to discuss your charges from your recent arrest brought against you by the state. Your arrest was for the act of entering an unlocked car, using malicious software to shut down any security features and start said car before recklessly driving through the streets. Following this, the car was forcibly shut down with an EMP by the police, and you were apprehended. The reason we know it was malicious software is because after going through the computer's diagnostic system, we found commands to wipe any recordings of internal or external cameras, internal or external microphones, and biometric readings from the last hour, and to start the car's engine. While we of course don't have any evidence that you personally used this software on the car itself, optics recorded you climbing into the car, a pause before it started up, and the car driving dangerously for about 10 minutes before it was stopped, and you were pulled out from it. And given that there wasn't anyone else in the car, I highly doubt a ghost hacked it for you. Even if a third party did insert the software into the car in the hopes that you or the car's owner would end up starting it and ended up in some sort of accident, you still climbed into a car that was left unlocked wearing gloves and a ski mask in a feeble attempt to cover any identification that could have been left. An innocent person doesn't exactly do that. It's also worth bringing in your internet history, which includes extensive research into various makes and models of different cars, and their proposed values if sold in the black market just a few weeks before this incident. It'd be pretty hard to sway a jury into thinking you just so happened to get a fixation on cars right before you took control of one. I could go on, but this largely has been just a preamble. For this incident, the state charges you with accessing a computer to defraud and obtain value, grand theft auto, and public endangerment. Totaling these together, you're looking at just about 11 to 15 years in prison. I also have it on good authority that the owner of the car you stole is planning on suing you for everything you've got. Turns out that car was a refurbished 2051 Ganesta revolver. Much of the inner workings were gutted and souped up, inflating the monetary and personal value greatly. It is, or was, a wonderful piece of machinery. Or at least from what I've heard. The EMP they had to use to shut it down basically turned it into a brick. When a detective down in the homicide department heard about this whole thing, I, unfortunately, had to hear in excruciating detail how bad this loss was. So many times I've seen people break down over getting handed their sentences, and none of them made me feel as off-put as hearing a grown woman choke back tears describing how it might have been an EV, but it didn't deserve to go out like that. Now, those are all the stakes. Well, I wouldn't say it's impossible for you to be found not guilty. I've seen an attorney pull evidence out of nowhere before. The chances of you not getting convicted isn't at all likely. If you decide to waste everyone's time and take it to court, you'll likely spend those 11 to 15 years working in a virtual work release program to pay off that lawsuit. However, the state's cybercrimes division found that the software used was nothing they'd seen before. Not on any web they've seen, at least. They don't know whether it was written by some hacker on an isolated machine and then physically distributed, or if it was sitting somewhere on the old net just waiting for it to be snatched up. Either way, it wasn't in line with any sort of exploitative code they could categorize. Normally, I would hate to have such endangerment of human life essentially rewarded, but they've convinced me to make you an offer. To prevent further incidents like this that could lead to actual damage and even loss of human life, they're offering to take care of whatever the car's owner wants so they don't sue you and to strike that public endangerment charge. You're still likely going to get a decade in prison even if you take this deal. It's always possible to get out on good behavior, though. speak of the devil, and here it comes. Yes, you're looking at losing a decade of your life no matter what you do. What's that old saying? If you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime? Hold on. Here, don't want any tears or snot getting on the paperwork. Oh no, I mean that. For the better part of the 21st century, almost all paperwork could be done digitally, but so many older bureaucrats insist on using paper for whatever reason. So, instead of getting chewed out over some criminal smearing all the ink with their sobbing, I just carry around little packs of disposable tissues to give out. Once you're done, the papers you'll need to sign are all here. I do suggest you read it thoroughly. Always important to know what terms and conditions you're agreeing to. Oh, is it really 10 a.m.? Do you mind if I go ahead and do my dailies? Yeah, Idol Savant Stars is running a banner for a new unit of my favorite character, and I gotta make sure I use everything I can for polls. I mean, it's not like I'm gonna miss out on a day of playing, but still. Alright, I can just pop in my earpods while you read all that and sign everything. You're done? Thank you. I swear, you could have gotten through that faster if you just read it off a data pad or something. Everything looks good. I'll take this back for you, and an officer should escort you back to your cell shortly. The state appreciates your cooperation, and I hope you have a good day.